the
Also,
end.
try not to look down the barrel of the camera.
Okay.
It'll be hard to do a thing from where you are. It'd be unnatural for you to do.
Well, I'm
Now
just
you're doing
gonna break the fourth wall. We're ready to go.
True. Okay. I've got my emotional support water bottle right here. This is
the debut of Shelley.
Shelley.
Oh.
Alison described this as my emotional support water bottle.
You
and I
always
love
have
it
it
now.
close by.
I do. Since I was ill like 2 weeks ago, and I was just like never getting enough water. I started to drink it, and then I googled that you need 3 liters a day as a woman, which is 1.5 of this.
Honestly, that's outrageous.
Yeah, so I have
Who
to
has-
keep it near.
Who has the time to
I
go to the
don't
bathroom that many times?
Don't drink 3 litres.
Yeah,
any day.
you should start.
I should.
Yeah, it's actually really nice. I do like always need the toilet a little bit.
You're always going to the toilet. We'll be like, oh, let's go downstairs.
On top of
I
this.
just need to go to the toilet first.
On top of this. Okay, so should we like officially
Start. Yeah.
start?
Yes.
Welcome.
Are we all ready? Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Big Sisters in STEM. Today we have a bit of a special episode.
Ooh, I feel like we need a jingle.
We need like a
Jingle
drum
that.
roll then. We're joined by Amrit, who... and you have some quite big news. Yeah. Do you wanna-
Should I
Go
break
on,
the
drop
news?
it.
I have been elected to be the University of Manchester's Faculty of Science and Engineering Officer for 2025/26.
What's it people do nowadays?
Yeah, click, click, click. I actually...
I have a really good snap.
But that's huge news. I did see the campaign kind of posters and things across like the SU.
That's good. It works.
So yeah, saw you on social media. How was the whole process? Because it's when we saw that we thought we'd love to have you on here and talk about it because it's such an important role. And we'd met already, so I was like, oh my god. She may say yes because I know this girl. So do you want to tell us a bit about
The campaign
the
trail.
campaign trials? Like, how did that work? How did you find it?
It was quite a short period actually in terms of campaigning. So they announced all the candidates on a Wednesday. Then voting started the following Monday and was open for 4 days. Closed on
That's
Thursday.
quite a quick
and
process.
then we found out Thursday evening who got the positions.
That's like whiplash.
Yeah.
That's
it
like
was
a whole week of like...
It was, yeah, a very, very intense week. I know all the other candidates as well. Like we all kind of, we would meet every morning on that Monday to Thursday, that voting period, and just sort of like kind of just to, like speak to each other, discuss things. We do like morning
That's a bit
energizers
nice.
and stuff. It was quite nice actually. That was organised by the university as well. We were all just saying like how it's like, there was no time to do other university work. So I had to get extensions on my courseworks because I was like,
Oh really?
kind of a bit overwhelmed with the whole process. But yeah, it was really nice to have all of us together, sort of relating to each other, being like, hey, yeah, we're all stressed, but at least we're all stressed together.
Yeah. Let's hold hands and be stressed.
But it's worth it as well because
Definitely.
it's such a cool role. You were telling us what you get to kind of do. It's next year, right? When does it start?
Yeah. So my contract officially starts, I think it's the 1st of July.
Oh.
Yes.
So you don't have like that long of a break between finishing uni for the year
No.
and going straight into...
Basically, yeah. I think I get 3 weeks after my exam season ends before the role officially then
Oh
starts.
my god.
And then it's going to be a case of getting to know people, getting to know like what meetings I need to be in, who I'm supposed to speak to, and just like building connections in that sense, and to figure out what I can actually do in my position as FSE officer.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Because you were saying some of the things that you get to kind of work on are just going to be so interesting, like teaching and learning and things. You're going to get to kind of have input and direction and shaping those spaces, which is so cool because currently you're mechanical engineering, right?
Yes.
It's coming to the end of third
End
year?
of my 3rd year, yes.
So you've got so much real experience in mech and your voice is going to be so valuable in those spaces, like added to all the work you're going to be doing in the role.
Yeah.
They're going to want to hear from you directly because you've just been in that position studying. And
when you were the voice as well for your student body.
Yeah, you were a rep. Was it?
Yeah, so like the university has these things called student reps. So it's like about 3 or 4 people from. This is only blah blah.
I love that.
We all need a
Rewind. Yeah, so the university has these things called student reps.
Yeah.
This is definitely for the Faculty of Science and Engineering. I'm not too sure about the other 2 faculties, but for FSE, basically every year of every course has 3 or 4 student reps. It's a quite simple process. You just apply and they say, yep, cool, you're a rep now. That's nice.
You're a rep. You're a rep.
But you love doing that,
yeah,
right?
Definitely. Okay. Yeah, so we have meetings, 2 meetings every semester. We can meet with members of staff, so year tutors for our course, as well as some slightly higher level members of staff as well. And we at these meetings we can bring concerns from our peers, even my own concerns as well. Bring that to these meetings so we can voice it to members of staff, and then they can give us feedback being like, oh, that's way because of this reason, or they can be like, okay, cool, that's a really good idea, let me bring it further forward,
which is only going to be amplified so much in your new role because
I agree.
A full-time position, isn't it? FSC?
Yeah,
full-time paid.
Yep, full-time
job.
paid.
I didn't realise it was like a full-on.
Neither did I. Completely ignorant of that. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Are you going to miss mechanical engineering while you're in your full-time role?
That's a really good point, actually. Like, I spend every day in the engineering building currently, and I'll be based in the Students' Union next year, so
it'll feel different.
I'll miss my building, to be honest. My study room I'm in every single day, unfortunately.
It's not goodbye though, it's just see you later.
Exactly.
See you in a year.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, because you're doing the MN.
Yes.
So it's 4 years.
It's a 4th year afterwards. Yeah.
How did you find engineering? Was that's something we wanted to talk about
today?
Was that route to kind of getting to mechanical engineering, but also engineering in general? Was that something that you knew young? I think you said that you naturally liked physics and maths.
Yeah.
So did it start from that, or what was that journey like?
Yeah, I mean, I would say my method of choosing engineering as a university subject wasn't really the most inspirational, to be honest. It was really a case of,
it doesn't have to be.
I really liked maths, I really liked physics. I did further maths at A level as well because apparently I really liked maths.
Wow, you really like maths
really
if you do further maths.
Somehow, yeah. And was like, okay, next natural step, let's just do engineering because it kind of combines all of those together into a more practical, applied situation. So I was like, okay, cool, engineering sounds fun. Yeah. And then when it came to choosing the type of engineering, I heard about this type of engineering called design engineering. I was like, that sounds really fun. I did GCSE art and I thought I was okay at it. I really enjoyed it, to be fair. So I was like, okay, design engineering sounds like a perfect combination of everything I really enjoy doing now. Yeah. And then I applied and I got rejected from design engineering at those different universities. So I was like, okay, that's fine.
You know what? They're lost.
It is the
exactly. Yeah.
You're still going to do some element of design in Mech?
No, definitely, yeah.
Is it modules every year that you get to do design? They're called like design 1 and stuff, right?
Yeah, we have design 1, design
I don't know
2
what
and
they
design
mean.
3.
Because when I've researched, I've been like, I was hoping for more information.
Yeah. No, that's so fair.
Yeah, what kind of things do you do in design 1, 2, 3 in Mech? What does that look like?
You sort of focus on different aspects of like how you would design a product. So like we got to actually make a product, and then in my second year a lot of the focus is on like the prerequisite stuff, on the calculations behind how you design something, how like fast it needs to travel, for example, and a lot of like dimensional based calculations. And then third year was a lot of like the innovation side. So we had to make a hose unreeling anti-kinking device for fire hoses.
Whoa,
what does that mean? Okay. I'm not really too sure, to be honest.
A lot of descriptions there.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, so it was very that was a very innovative part of the course, where it's literally like, here's a problem, solve it, and then just design it whatever you wanted to.
And you basically like doing problem solving.
Definitely, sort of thing, it was really fun, just like having the chance to be like innovative and creative
in that kind of real world scenario.
Yeah, I guess that comes back to what you were saying before about loving maths and physics and enjoying art, but wanting to do something applied with it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're
definitely.
getting that with MEC? Do you think that's a good route to do something which feels like you're doing something rather than just the theory? Because it's like a combo, right, of applied and theory.
Yeah. I feel like one of the main things, obviously, like, I think I definitely do a lot more theory than I do applied practical stuff, just because that's the premise of university. That's always how it works. If you want looking for something more practical, I think probably apprenticeship is definitely a better route to go down.
More hands-on.
Definitely. But so with the course itself, like I said, it's very theory-based, and I think I'm definitely getting a very good foundational level understanding of like the principles of how things actually work that I could then go on in like the future in like in a job to actually apply those things.
Yeah.
So I would say the course itself, and as with any university course that does mechanical engineering, is going to be more theory-based, but there are definitely societies you can get involved with if you're looking for that more practical aspect. And the University of Manchester specifically also has like a workshop space called the Maker Space, where you can go there and do your own personal projects.
It has all the cool illustrations on the side. Down the line, for you with engineering, was it something that you knew at like GCSE age, or did it come a bit later, like A level?
I feel like the idea of doing engineering was sort of always like not pushed onto me, but kind of always like made aware for me. I used to really love DT like all throughout secondary school from year 7, and got like the chance to be involved in different sort of like engineering events. I'd say there'd be like outreach events where we'd have because I'm from Derby and we have a Rolls-Royce there, so we'd have members of staff from Rolls-Royce come into school and sort of speak about just engineering, to be honest. And then there'd be opportunities where students can actually go to the facility. Like I had the chance to have tours around the building, or just go to talks, or like fair events, or like, you know, like stalls, and kind of speak about different branches of engineering they offer. So I think like it was always sort of like in the back of my mind, like engineering is definitely a possibility for me. So when it got to choosing my subjects, I was like, I feel like nothing makes sense. Like nothing else makes sense other than engineering, to be honest. I didn't know if I wanted to actually be an engineer, and I still don't know if I want to be an engineer, but I think it was definitely like the right step for me in terms of going to university and doing engineering. Like I said, mentioned earlier, like getting that foundational understanding of how things work, and then hopefully it will set me up going forward for whatever job role I end up going into.
That's so nice though, that it always felt like an opportunity. It always felt natural.
Going
like,
to those
why
events.
wouldn't I be allowed in these spaces?
Yeah, I think I was definitely very lucky in that sense as well. I know a lot of other people on my course as well, like, probably didn't feel the same, but I think I went to a school that just really made sure they were promoting things equally to everybody, to be honest.
Yeah, that's really cool, that because like there was also like, I don't know, it was like geography influence, like because there was a Rolls-Royce nearby, there was an awareness locally about that as a career path is quite nice.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and what you were saying about setting you up, that's so true. I mean, it depends, like, you're going to have a year now as FSC officer. So you'll have a little bit of distance from engineering, and it might actually make you think, what do I want to do with the skills that I'm getting?
Yeah, definitely.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But it definitely will set you up. I've heard so many things about this before, like some things like, what is it? CEOs used to have, this is a headline I've seen, CEOs used to have business degrees, now they have engineering degrees. And people say things like that, I think, and just because there's a more prevalence in engineers coming up with kind of like big solutions, if that makes sense. Yeah. And you're literally problem solving on the daily in your course, so that makes sense, right? So I think it's very sought after as a skill set.
Yeah. And now problem solving for people, like being a leader in that space of like FSC. What's your actual title?
Faculty of Science and Engineering Officer. Full title.
So insert name here. Showing leadership in that, like, is that something that comes naturally to you, or is it just something, have you found subconsciously you like solving problems, so you kind of want to help other people do that?
I don't know, to be honest. Yeah.
It's like therapy.
I'm like, making me think now. I don't know. I feel like I've naturally sort of found myself in sort of leadership roles, I guess. So obviously with this officer role, I'm also the president of a society currently, which is...
Are you? What society?
It's the Bhangra Society. So that's a style of North Indian dance.
How do you have time to do anything?
How do I have time? I don't know.
Are you going to get to carry that on when you're in your role?
So I'm not allowed, because I would technically be a member of staff next year, so
Sure.
can't be on the some student system, but I'm still allowed to be part of the society, and so I'll
Okay.
still be teaching classes and stuff next year, like I'm doing
That
this
is so
year.
cool. Oh my
You
god.
guys should come to a class.
We'll
Yeah.
still go.
Yeah.
If you
Every
tell us
Monday,
when
yeah.
there is one, we'll
Yeah,
go.
I'll let you know.
Oh my god, that's so fun.
We're actually in the office on Mondays.
Yes,
as
we
well.
are.
Mm.
Lunch break.
That's-
Just come on over.
That sounds like a very good society to be part of on a few fronts, but also the idea that it's something completely different to your course.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's nice to have something like that, right?
Yeah. I think it's definitely very important, like, with your degree being, like it takes up a lot of your time, a lot of, like, mental space as well.
Did you say president? Of the
Yes.
society? Wow.
Can't you just drop that in there, low key? Yeah, president. I'd be like shouting that from the rooftops.
Yeah,
I'm president.
Wow. You're an overachiever.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Thank you,
because
thank
like
you.
you always felt like it was a space for you, so you didn't have to fight that like initial imposter syndrome that people often have, which can then like kind of curtail people going into like leadership because they're just trying to be in the room, I guess.
Imposter syndrome's an interesting one. Like, it's a big struggle, but we don't want to like expect that on someone because it means almost like you feel like you're being too overconfident or something if you don't have it. Like, it's normal to be confident. Like, we should all strive to be more confident.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like incredible when people don't feel like they're frauds and like in the room for the wrong reasons or like
because that's what imposter syndrome is. It just makes
Yeah.
you doubt everything.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've definitely felt that in the past. That feeling of, I don't know, just feeling like you have to prove yourself really, like, over and
But
above.
it's even like even for this, like I didn't feel like I had the like kind of leadership qualities to kind of do a hosting gig. That's why I said no so many times.
She did say no so many times. But you're a natural.
Thank you.
Honestly.
I'm actually just very good at yapping. I just pretend everything else, no one else is here.
I think sometimes you have to just
But I think there's
agree
something
to
in
things
that.
that scare you a bit.
I think there's something in if you feel like you're in a space that you're like you belong in, you're more inclined to potentially like go for more leadership roles or go for
But that's why, like, for example, representation matters.
yes, exactly.
Because people could feel like they don't belong in a space. And then it means that you end up not having that progression path for
Yes.
people because they
and putting yourself
don't
forward.
see themselves
Yeah.
represented down the line.
No, definitely.
This is getting into a heavy conversation now, but it's so true. Yeah, what do you have any like advice for confidence in getting into like leadership positions?
I would say, I mean, like, I think before coming to uni, I was definitely like a very quiet person. I would say like I kind of keep to myself. Probably would be scared to talk to people other than my friends. And I think like my biggest advice and like probably the thing I'm most grateful for is like when I got to uni, I was just like, okay, no more of that. I want to sort of just speak to everyone, especially in first year. Everyone's in the same position. Everyone's just trying to make friends. You just go out and speak to people, and like, it's so much easier said than done. I know I was just terrified all the time, just try and speak to people. But once you sort of push yourself out of your comfort zone there, you look back and you're like, wow, that was like probably the best thing I could have done. Like, I've met so many people now that I never would have met if I hadn't, just been like, okay, hi, who are you? Random person, let's be friends.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Uni is such a place to kind of reinvent yourself. Not to change yourself, but just be like, because I was so quiet at school. And then I remember I was going to uni and I think it was a friend or parent or a website was like, it was like, take a doorstop to uni. That is the most essential piece you could pack. And so you prop your door open in your halls and people feel like they can come in and talk to you on the first few days. Obviously close it when you're going to bed and everything. But it's so true. And then you have that kind of metaphorical doorstop where you're like, I want to have these opportunities open to me.
That's very good. That's good advice. I think as well, when we say reinvent yourself, and this, you may have found this, you said you were like quiet, and Alice, you said you were as well. It's sometimes just like letting the parts of yourself that you normally like squash down be seen.
Definitely.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Like, that isn't necessarily reinventing yourself, but like in essence, everyone around you, it seems that way, but instead it's just like letting yourself be seen.
Yeah, it's like more coming into
Rather
your
than
own,
like
actually,
being the wallflower.
Yes.
being your like self that's on the inside, on the outside as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
That's so true.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone goes through that as well.
Completely.
I remember when I started here. Sorry, I keep talking about myself. When,
that's good.
when
I want to share experiences.
We can cut these out. When I started here, I was like, everyone's like, you're so loud and bubbly. And I was like, what? I'm an introvert. I'm so quiet.
You mean
I had such a complex
at UOM working?
Yes, because for my life up
remember you
until
saying
I
this.
went into industry, like I was like, I am a quiet person, and like you almost label yourself as like, I am quiet, I am introverted, and so when you're like your true self comes out when you're comfortable, it's almost like jarring because you're like, I don't think I'm quiet and introvert anymore. I think I'm actually quite loud.
Yeah.
And I think I like talking to people.
Sometimes I cackle.
Always cackling.
Yeah.
But it's true. And it's really nice when you feel like you're growing into yourself. I feel like
Yes,
university
definitely.
is such a good opportunity for that.
Maybe we label ourselves too much.
For sure.
Like being quiet or whatever. I used to do the same.
Yeah.
At school, I think I could be seen as maybe a bit weird.
Aww.
And I would be like, I'm just quiet and misunderstood. And that was my label for myself. You know when you try and romanticize things?
Yeah.
And I remember a teacher or something saying like, I wouldn't say you're quiet. And I was like, what? And I'm like, you're really blunt. I was like, I think I've said to people before, like, I'm such a people pleaser. I really need to stop. And they're like, you're not pleasing anyone. You're just saying things as they are. And I don't, you sometimes like, how you perceive yourself isn't how other people perceive you.
Completely.
That's really jarring. I'm a people pleaser. No, you're not.
Yeah, that's happened to me multiple times. And I don't know how to take it. Because like I was complaining that I thought I was one and I'm learning I'm not. And I'm like, wait, but I am. That's how I see myself, you know? But yeah, it's just kind of growing comfortable with yourself, I guess.
Completely, yeah.
Being on this podcast has helped me with that a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Just being, you see yourself on the other end of the camera, and you're like,
you perceive yourself as like
I'm
someone
a real
else.
person.
Yeah. I think also going back to the point you made about like how you perceive yourself versus how other people perceive you. There was one really like interesting workshop we did as part of the LEAD MCR training. It was of like the speaker, he said, okay, quickly, you have 30 seconds, write down 5 positive things about yourself. And then it's like 5 things you like about yourself or 5 positive things. And then like I think I got to like 4 or something because I was like, what do I like about myself? And then afterwards he was like, okay, now think of like the person like you're closest to, and write 5 things down about them. And like I was done before 30 seconds, and it's like sort of like putting into perspective, like you perceive other people in like a much higher respect than I feel like you tend to perceive yourself. I feel like people are definitely very critical on themselves for no reason, to be honest. And then you ask someone else who probably to write a list about you, and they're like, they just keep listing everything, to be honest. So it's just like, I think it's definitely an interesting point about, I think we as humans are just critical on ourselves.
That's a really good exercise. Because as you said that, and I thought, God, 5 things is quite a lot.
Yeah, God. Yeah. I'd be struggling. Can I have more time?
Is there any like last questions that we'd like to give?
What 5 things you like about yourself?
No.
What do you reckon?
Well, sometimes we just go wild, just have a random curveball. Like we did, what colour are you right now?
Yeah.
Before. We could do something along that line. I do like the idea of like, what something you like about yourself.
Yeah, like knowing your worth.
Yeah.
And like
that's something we wanted to talk about. So maybe we should
do like one thing we like about ourselves.
We'll go around 3 things everyone likes about themselves. I don't want to see just
3
on me.
things,
I'm
yeah.
like,
okay. Who wants to start?
oh gosh.
I'm embarrassed. I like my sense of humour.
Oh, I love that.
I think you can make yourself laugh, like you're winning.
Okay.
I've got what?
I
It
like
was,
that.
I don't know.
That's
what else?
good.
Is it 3?
Is it 3? Can we just do 1?
Yeah, I don't think we've got time for 3.
No, fair.
Above
I
my
was
head.
gonna. This is kind of a bad one, but I was gonna say I really like my curly hair.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, I've been
I
trying
really
to
like
embrace
your
I
curly
love
hair
your curly
too.
hair
Yeah.
too.
Thank you.
Do you
So it's
do
gonna-
a special hair routine?
I've got a curly hair routine.
Yeah?
It's
Curly girl.
Yeah, it's wash, shampoo, and then you condition, and then you put leave-in conditioner in, and then normally it's put in a curl cream and then rake it through your hair, and then put a gel in, and then it's a scrunching,
The scrunching.
and then diffuse it, and then put oil in your
Oh
hair.
my God.
It's
How do you do this? And you're the president of a society, and
that's-
you're representing the entire student body.
I mean, that's like I wash my hair once a week, which is probably people don't like, but I don't know. If
That
people
sounds
find
like
that
the
kind
dream.
Of, yeah,
That's what people aim for normally,
yeah,
isn't it?
Well,
yeah.
yeah. So it's only once a week. It's fine. A lot of time to
You put
myself. I'm
shift in.
just scrunching my hair for about half an hour, but that's fine.
That's like a self-love routine.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
It is.
no, it is quite fun. I can't lie.
That was a good one. Curly hair.
Okay, I think I've got mine. I like that I do things. And by that, I mean that when I have an idea, I just do it.
You're pragmatic.
I'm a doer.
You're a doer.
Like,
No,
I don't
that's
just
really
come up with
good.
ideas, I have to act on them.
You put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, I put my money where my mouth is.
And you
That's good.
deliver a lot of the time.
I try to, but sometimes things don't go to plan, but sometimes they do. Like
And at
this
least you
podcast.
tried.
Yeah, I think that's my best quality because that's something that people say to me like, oh, how do you have the time to do the da-da-da-da? Or why are you still doing this? And it's just because I think it, like, even in a personal sense, it can feed you to kind of have your own list of things that you want to achieve and do and just feel like you're always working on them. Because it feels like you're feeding yourself as well as relaxing at the same time. I don't know what it is. It's just something about balancing doing stuff at work with doing things at home. It just feels like, I don't know, energizing to
Energizing. That's the word
to
of
be
the
keeping
podcast.
creative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Energizing.
Energizing, yeah.
I like that.
So,
Thanks.
What a wholesome note to end on. I wish I'd changed my answer.
Why?
I don't know. Yours was better than mine.
no, yours is
I don't
really
think
good.
so.
I can't lie.
That's what mine would have been if you hadn't said it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
We're just
for
both
sure.
too funny. Too funny for our own good.
But that's everything. Thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
so
us
much.
Thank you
today.
so much for
Flew.
having me, and I'm shocked already at the end. I can't lie. That was thank you for inviting me. Though I really appreciated your email, and this has been really
we
really
had
fun.
a little coffee. Wait, your
my
tea
tea's
go
cold.
Your tea is cold.
I
It's
completely forgot about that.
Let's go get you another tea.